here, you can make another paternity issue right now. You was just with her a week ago, and you was with her for this baby and had the paternity issue on the last child. None of you all should be shaking your head. You're all in it. You all guilty.
He was sleeping with me at one point in time behind Rachel's back. Since you want to be up here and bat for everything, tell the truth.
This is why you were with Delonte.
No, it was not. Me and Delonte were friends. We had just started talking.
Of my boyfriend was the father of the child.
Right.
Dad came to my house and told me they got a DNA test with somebody else, so I moved on with my life.
Ms. Carr's games dragged Mr. Johnson to the paternity court. Mr. Johnson said that he is tired of 18-year-old doubts and he wants to find the truth once and for all. But the defendant stated that the plaintiff has been dodging the DNA test since the day he was informed. Let's move to plaintiffs.
Mr. Johnson, you say the defendant, Mrs. Carr, has been playing an emotional DNA game with you over her daughter's paternity for the past 18 years. You've brought her to court to finally end this game and prove you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
So the judge started with their relationship recap. It was revealed that they were not even in a relationship. Then how could they end up producing a baby? And why did she shove you, or the father, in the plaintiff's face?
Take me back to the nature of this relationship. You all used to be boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, ma'am. My uncle married her auntie.
Okay.
And they adopted her. I used to go over their house and help him out, like cutting grass and things of that nature, and I would stay the night, and they would allow us to sleep in the same room. We had sex one time.
However, from mother's testimony, it was revealed that she informed the alleged father about the baby, but he dumped her because there was another guy in the picture who was proven to be the father.
And at some point you realized you pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. At the time, I was young. I was just coming on my menstrual, so this was still new to me. So it was brought to my attention that my menstrual was late or it had not come on when it was supposed to. So I was taken to the doctor and later on determined I was pregnant.
Nonetheless, the plaintiff came across Miss May after many years. He told the court that he bumped into the baby and she called her daddy. But Ms. Carr acted cold even in this emotional moment.
In a grocery store, she runs up to me. She run up to me, like, Daddy. I'm shocked at the moment, like, wait a minute, Daddy. When I tell you I'm looking for cameras to pop out, I thought I was on a prank show or something. Like,
How old is she?
She's about 5 or 6 at this time.
Your Honor, this is my first time ever hearing this story about the grocery store.
Okay, so let's hear it.
She run up to me like, Daddy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like...
Even after no DNA test and strong doubt, Mr. Johnson claimed to step up to the plate. But if he was there for the baby girl, then why didn't he have a father relationship with her at this age? He explained himself like this.
She's yours, you don't need to get a DNA test, and she looked like another family member when she was younger, and so I'm just full of emotion, and so against my better judgment, even without the DNA test, I started accepting Miss May as my child. I know that I need to get this DNA test based on what they told me in the past.
So to get an idea of what had happened all of these years, the judge called in Miss May. She told the court that she had seen her alleged biological father years ago, even though Mr. Johnson got emotional on her daughter's testimony.
I was not.
And so when's the last time you saw Mr. Johnson?
Last time I saw Mr. Johnson was the 5th grade summer, was probably around 2010.
So you have not seen her or laid eyes on her?
No, ma'am, and she's extremely beautiful.
Yes.
However, both sides continued to put the allegations on each other, and all of the negation and neglect around the paternity issue confused Judge Lake, so she has to say this.
The next moment, you're not, it gets really confusing.
I mean, it is amazing to me how much you all were doing. You did everything but get a DNA test. I mean, everything. And now, Amber is the one who's hurting.
At the end of the day.
Thinking you're her biological father, and you only showed up for a birthday party, and I mean, Amber, what was that like?
Well,
Either way, both sides and the judge were hoping the plaintiff was the father, as if not, it will damage the young girl for her whole life. Let's see if fate will have mercy on them or not. Now it was time for the result.
Mr. Johnson, you are her father. How do you
my
feel?
parents.
How do you feel? Absolutely, honey.
It's okay. It's okay.
We came here for a beautiful young woman who deserves to know who her biological father is. And now we have that answer.
Yes, we do.
Mr. Morris is in paternity court to claim the paternity of his 29-year-old daughter, but the woman standing across the aisle is not ready to believe the plaintiff, as she believes that her mother has lied enough to her, and only DNA proof can put an end to the situation.
Mr. Morris, you say you are 100% certain that you are the biological father of the 29-year-old woman standing across the aisle, and want this court to put an end to years of confusion, lies, and doubt. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial begins with Mr. Morris telling his story about how he met the woman of his dreams at a dancing party, and they were together for 2 years. And even after they had broken up, the defendant came back for his daughter, but the mommy pushed him away like this.
But at the time when I talked to her, the 2 days I was in town to see Mrs. Smith, we had an issue, and she told me to my face that, no, none of her children were mine. So I left.
So how old was Miss Brister at this time?
I would say she had to be 5, maybe 5 or 6.
So, Miss Smith, you remember telling him that Miss Brister was not his child?
Yeah.
Seeing things like these can easily stir up paternity doubt. But in the mommy's defense, she didn't want to get back with her ex. She further had Miss Brister believed that the guy on her birth certificate was her father.
My mom taking me to get a DNA test, and I didn't remember the results at that time, but I do have a faint memory of her saying that he wasn't my father.
You brought an exhibit for the court?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it, please.
This is just a timeline of some of the things that she's told me over the years.
All these sudden revelations were causing turmoil in the defendant's life. It was hurtful and confusing. And when the judge asked Miss Smith why she had lined up so many stories, she confessed that she was doing so to protect her daughter from her father's style.
And how old were you when this happened? This started when you were how old?
This started when I was, I think, around like 8, 9, maybe 10, when I was told, when I remember.
When you remember
her saying that the man on my birth certificate wasn't my father.
But when the judge asked Mr. Morris about this, he told the court that he had no idea about any of the stores going around. Further, he informed the court that he was charged with the defendant's child support. However, Miss Brister seemed unconcerned about all of it.
I don't remember that. But if you've known that I was your daughter, it's kind of like, why didn't you reach out? Why didn't your family reach out?
Because
nobody said anything in all these years. So now that I'm about to be 30, you know, and here it is, you saying you're 100% sure.
By now, it seemed like that trio was stuck on a roller coaster of fate, and all of these years had gone by without the truth being revealed. So I guess it was about the right time to set the record straight.
Mr. Morris.
Yes, Sean.
You are not her father.
What?
I'm very sorry.
Can I hug my daughter?
Absolutely. Is that okay?
Sorry.
You can stand with your daughter, ma'am. Miss Brister, are you okay?
I am. I'm glad to know. It's one step closer.
Is he or isn't he? The tension is tangible as Mr. Nelson's skeptical nature threatens to shatter their relationship. But today, the truth will finally be revealed as the DNA results come in. All eyes turn to the plaintiffs, eager to put an end to the uncertainty once and for all.
Ms. Harden, you have opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say, due to a misunderstanding, he is now denying your 2-month-old daughter, Sophia Nelson. You are certain he is the father, and once proven, you want his help raising your daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So the trial began on the note of the defendant was being irresponsible and careless towards the child, and he admitted all the plaintiff's testimony like this.
Delonte doesn't help me with anything. He doesn't help me financially. He won't pick up a diaper. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I go to the store. He won't watch her for 15 minutes while I get in the shower. He walk past her like she Casper. When she cry, he be like, hey, get your daughter crying. Your daughter wants you. Get her, get her. He don't help me at all.
The pregnancy question was important to ask to proceed with the trial. Let's find out the side of the story of when the pregnancy news was revealed and how it raised so many questions like this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me what happens when you find out you're pregnant.
At first, I panicked because I didn't know how he would respond. He didn't seem like the person to want to have a kid. He didn't seem like a kid person. But, I mean...
That's true.
So why were you having unprotected sex with this young man and you didn't think he was the kid type? And why are you following going behind him.
It was painful to watch a grown woman cry in mid-trial like that due to the fact of being alone like this.
I didn't really have anybody. My mom died when I was 12. My dad's not in my life. My grandmother, she's not really there either.
Okay, now I understand what's going on. That's all right. We come here to tell the truth. And if that's your truth, you say it.
Yes, ma'am.
However, the defendant decided not to be easy on the baby mama, and even the baby girl's birth didn't melt down the ice shield of this ignorant man.
So take me to the birth.
He was semi there, I call it.
At least
When
I
I
was
started,
there. A lot of
but that don't count. That don't count.
A lot
That
of
don't count.
dudes
That
wouldn't
don't
even
count.
be there.
He watched her be pushed out. He waited for my daughter to be weighed and wiped off, and he told me, that's a white man's baby, and walked out of the hospital room.
Wow, how can someone leave such an important thing? And if you think that is too much, see what he did next intentionally.
When we were on the way to the hospital, I called him multiple times and said, hey, make sure you grab your ID. You need your ID to sign her birth certificate. He left his ID at home on purpose, bought an empty wallet.
Well, on purpose.
On
Same
purpose.
thing, yeah.
So, Mr. Nelson, you say you didn't sign that birth certificate purposefully
Yes, Your
because you have doubt.
Yes, Your Honor.
There was another guy in the picture who could be the potential father. The plaintiff even had evidence to support their claim.
Okay, Your Honor. It all started, we went back to Arkansas, got our own place together. Around that time, her ex-boyfriend, John, and his baby mother, which is Rachel, at the time, didn't have nowhere to go, so they wanted to come stay with us. But that being her ex-boyfriend, I thought it was disrespectful.
After this, we got to know that the mommy was caught after sexual intercourse. Their equation was serious enough to raise doubt.
When we were going over that testimony, you were not vehemently denying anything.
Correct.
So you do admit that you were intimate with this couple.
Yes, I do.
And you admit you were intimate with them when Mr. Nelson left the house.
No.
Nevertheless, Judge Lauren asked Ms. Harden's ex about the baby's paternity. He denied, and he even brought evidence to support his testimony.
Do you think you're Sophia's father? That's what I
No,
want to know.
it's impossible.
Yeah, now you don't.
So
Like,
Why are you denying
are they
that now?
testifying that you were on the phone saying, what are we gonna do about our baby? You know that's my baby.
I never said that. They're both delusional.
You never claimed this child.
No, actually, I got text messages and screenshots with Pinky texting me, asking me to take a DNA test for the baby because she thinks that the baby's mine.
Above all, don't lie to yourself. Judge Lauren had enough of their lies and pinning excuses on each other in a circle, but the baby mama denied all the claims this way.
All right, Miss Davis, thank you for your testimony. It was very enlightening. Now you say your husband, Mr. Patterson, said he's the father. Mr. Patterson, you say Mr. Nelson is the father. Mr. Nelson, you say Mr. Patterson is the father. Ms. Harden, you told Mr. Nelson he's the father and Mr. Patterson he's the father.
No, I did not tell John he was the father of my child.
Well, Judge Lauren articulated some schooling for all of them because they thought of producing a baby as a fun part only.
Okay, so here we go. This is a mess. I say this in this courtroom all the time. Sex is not a board game. It's not like Monopoly where it's better if you play with more people. It's not. It really isn't. It just gets messier. And at the end of the day, y'all just all up here arguing. So all this little sex and now we gonna have a threesome and now we doing this. No, that's not really how it works.
Let's see if that DNA envelope has something good for her or not.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Patterson or Mr. Nelson is the father of 2-month-old Sophia Nelson. It has been determined by this court. The biological father is Mr. Nelson. You are the biological father.
I just want to say I apologize to you.
A serious medical condition has led to a paternity dispute that could shake things up. Ms. Fisher has come forward claiming that Mr. Stewart is the biological father, and she's not backing down. With a DNA test, the truth will finally come to light. Let's move to plaintiffs.
Ms. Fisher, you're here to prove that Mr. Stewart is your daughter Kalia's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state that your daughter has a serious medical condition, and it is imperative that you know the father's medical history. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren straightforwardly hopped up into the pregnancy part. It slipped out that the defendant is denying paternity from day one. But why?
Well, I woke up one morning, I wasn't feeling well, and I've been pregnant before, so I pretty much knew before I took the test I was pregnant.
And you immediately said, Mr. Stewart, this is your
I showed it to him, and his first reaction, it ain't mine.
That's what he said?
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Exactly.
Even after the denial, how did their relationship continue? Later revealed that he was dating her just because he was bored. That's slick.
After this is over, did the relationship continue?
Yes, he was just at my house like a week and a half ago.
Oh.
I mean, I got bored. I got bored, you know.
You got bored?
Yes, ma'am.
When you get bored, you go over Miss Fisher's house and have unprotected sex?
Sometimes.
That's smart.
There was another guy in the picture, and he was Miss Fisher's first pick to father her child. The plaintiff even had some information to support his claim.
You stated that you knew for certain that Miss Fisher was sleeping with other men.
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you know and how do you know it?
Well, she named another potential father as the biological father, and then on top of that, another man signed the birth certificate.
Wait a minute. She named another man as the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, this did seem a bit odd. What drags someone to court if you won't let them get listed as a father? Instead of telling a man to step up on the plate, calling him deadbeat, dad seems petty, doesn't it?
Because he chose to give her his last name. He did that on his own.
She just dragging my name around the town and stuff, man, telling everybody that I'm just a deadbeat dad and stuff, man. Come on.
I ain't said nothing about you. You the one be walking around, folks come back.
Man, that's what you just out here and said, that I'm a deadbeat. I don't do nothing for her. I ain't got nothing.
So the other potential father was escorted into the courtroom. The suspect claimed that the plaintiff is a compulsive liar, and she has done things like this before.
I'm not denying that I'm not her father. I'm denying because Miss Fisher, she always been lying to me, you know what I'm saying? Because we already done went through this one time with an older child.
What do you mean?
We started inboxing each other on Facebook.
It always starts with Facebook. Done it wrong.
Yeah, we started inboxing each other, you know what I'm saying? Then we got real cornered, you know.
However, baby mama continued her game of imposing possibilities on men. But Judge Lauren was irked, and she articulated some facts like that.
Have a sexual relationship.
Yes, ma'am.
And this happened before.
Yes, ma'am.
With an older child.
Yes, ma'am.
And then when the child was born, you thought it was your child?
Yes, and I was taking care of the child, you know what I'm saying? Me and my mom.
So Miss Fisher, you told him it was his child?
No, that's not what I told him. I told him the same thing we're going through now, that it was a chance.
As the testimony proceeded, it revealed that the baby has got some serious condition, and it's vehement to know about her father for her treatment. Let's see this part.
The doctor says she has a hole right in the middle of her heart, and she has too much blood going to her lungs. And so in 2 months, they might have to do surgery if the hole doesn't close.
Oh my goodness. Do either of you gentlemen have heart issues?
No, Your Honor.
You don't?
No, Your Honor.
You don't either. And so finding out who her father is important to you, why?
And that is the part where things fell short. How could they be irresponsible and dumb in a sexual relationship which can produce a baby? Nobody should play around when it comes to paternity.
New beautiful baby, and then needing an answer from me that I can't give because I was irresponsible, and now her health may be affected because of that? That's not okay. And the reason why I'm going so hard on you all is because you're still up to it, and you admitted it in court today.
Yeah. Valid point. No child deserves to suffer like this. Let's see if the baby girl is getting her full-time daddy or not.
Mr. Stewart, you are not the father.
Oh.
Don't clown. Don't clown. Don't you dare clown in here. Miss Fisher, there's something going on because you're just giving your body away for free. You're just making babies. How many other children do you have besides Kalia? 2. Do they have the same father?
No.